Okay, thanks for having me, and thanks to Ian and Bobby for putting on another great event. If you happen to see them around this week, shake their hand, say thank you, because a ridiculous amount of work goes into putting on these events, which are always high quality. And this is my favorite conference by far. And I'll ask for that 30 seconds to be added back to the end of my pitch, please. So I'm going to be talking about KITS Eyecare today, which trades on the TSX under the symbol KITS, K-I-T-S, at about $14.50 per share Canadian. I haven't checked the price today. And is Canada's fastest growing e-commerce eye care business. Quick word on who I am. As Sean mentioned, I'm Adam Wilk, founder of Greystone Capital Partners. Greystone is a concentrated investment partnership focused on finding and owning high-quality small cap and micro-cap investments. We own between 10 and 12 stocks and think very long-term and try to back founders and owner-operators who have plenty of skin in the game. So when looking for truly great businesses and great investments, this is sort of the scorecard we use and represents kind of the hallmarks of a great business. I won't read them all, but the takeaway is that most companies check off a few of these boxes, and we believe KITS checks nearly every single one. And again, I won't take you through all of these, but keep them in mind as you listen to the rest of the presentation, as well as keep in mind the question I will ask you now. So, provocative slide here, but what if I told you a business trading at 65 times earnings is actually cheap? KITS is one of the best businesses I've come across, and in our view is very cheap. And the gap between its headline multiple and the value that they're creating is the opportunity here. So the core idea is that when a company plows money into acquiring customers who keep coming back and spending more, its reported earnings understate the value that's being created. The marketing line can look like an expense when it's really an investment that pays back for years. And this slide highlights sort of a Q1 example of this, the most recent quarter. But the overarching theme is that the behavior of each annual customer cohort is improving. The customers acquired during 2021, for example, have shown software-like retention rates along with significantly increasing average order values. And newer customers are spending more than newer customers are spending more than new customers from past cohorts. And so when every cohort is worth more than the last, spending to acquire more of them is the most valuable growth that KITS can buy today. And importantly, in our view, that value is not being reflected on the income statement. And if any of this sounds familiar, it's because it is the playbook and I think insight that behind some of the greatest retail compounders. And I won't take you through each of these, but Amazon reported almost no profit for the better part of 2 decades intentionally because it was reinvesting everything into growth, and the cash flow and the value compounded way in excess of what showed up on the income statement. And to be clear, I'm not comparing KITS to Amazon, but the key is that the reported numbers understated the value being created underneath. And KITS is running that same playbook in Eyecare. And because the business is just 8 years old, the opportunity is it's still very early. All right, so finally, the business itself. So KITS sells contacts and contact lenses in its own brand of glasses direct to consumers online. They sell both KITS branded and third-party products. And a lot of things make the business unique, but most of all, what makes them different is their factory, their vertically integrated optical lab. KITS manufactures their glasses, and when I say manufacture, I mean they assemble the materials in their 40,000-ish square foot optical lab in Vancouver. And they manufacture over 2,000 pairs of glasses per day with capacity to scale to up to 4,000 per day, and can have glasses made in about 30 minutes and out the door the same day. They are profitable on each glasses order due to this vertical integration, and I think that's a super important part of the story. KITS started their business by selling just contacts, which now makes up around 85% of their revenue, and glasses make up the other 15%. It was about 19% as of the last quarter, and is growing rapidly between 50 and 60% year over year. So why couldn't a competitor copy this model? KITS has plenty of competitors in both contacts and eyeglasses, including Warby Parker, but the price and convenience, we believe, are huge advantage points with KITS. So as mentioned, KITS started selling contacts only, which is the lower margin, commoditized part of the industry, and built a loyal repeat customer base from those efforts. And then they gave those customers a free or discounted pair of glasses, which served as their customer acquisition strategy and still serves as their customer acquisition strategy, as opposed to expensive, undifferentiated Google or Instagram ads. And KITS used the only capital they raised to date during their IPO to build the vertically integrated optical lab instead of burning the money on marketing. And as a result, KITS can acquire a customer for the cost of a pair of glasses. Then they can turn around and sell a pair of quality prescription glasses for 1/3 to 1/4 of the price of competitors, ship them to your door in 2 to 3 days, make money on each order, and then benefit from the repeat economics over time. So the incumbents, especially the brick and mortar businesses, can't match KITS pricing or fulfillment without completely decimating their margins because of the brick and mortar and SG&A overhead. So the price and convenience really can't be replicated without competitors damaging their own economics. And contact lenses, as mentioned, are the foundation here. So there's a couple of reasons for that. Vision correction isn't optional. It's non-discretionary. People don't stop wearing contacts or glasses in a recession or purchasing them. Contacts are consumable, so the reorder is automatic. Their auto ship revenue is pretty significant and has grown nicely over the last couple of years. That means customers on standing subscriptions. And the cohorts grow as they age. So the 2021 cohort, for example, spent about $150 or so in revenue per customer, and 4 years later was almost $500. And there's 85 to 95% retention there. So that's software-like retention on a box of contacts, which is super interesting, and they are sort of the cheap front door. Get customers in and then sell glasses at a much higher margin. From a base of zero, glasses have now grown to about $30 million in revenue as of last year. They're on, I think, about a $40 million run rate, about 10 or 11 million per quarter, which is growing nicely, and was up 61% during Q1. And glasses, as mentioned, made up about 15% of revenue during fiscal year 25, about 20% in Q1, and is scaling rapidly. The mix shift here is super important and really can't be overstated. So gross margins on glasses are approaching 50%, which is up from the mid-30s a few years ago, and gross profit per order is up about 80%. The 2026 customer cohort spends 60% more on their first order than the 2025 cohort on the same glasses pricing, so they haven't really exercised any pricing power despite selling a pair of prescription glasses for somewhere between $38 to $58. And we think the glasses category, as does management, is about 8 to 10 times the size of the contact lens business. And it's, again, important to keep in mind that KITS acquires glasses customers with free pairs and or promotions, and which we hope they'll keep doing successfully as customers keep coming back again and again to spend more money. So can't reiterate this point enough. Contacts brings the customer in cheap and keep them, and then glasses are the higher margin, far bigger market, which is growing about 60%, and every dollar that shifts towards glasses pulls consolidated margins up. In terms of customer cohorts, I think the formula is pretty simple. So acquire customers once, retain for years, they spend more and more over time. Newer cohorts spend more than older ones. And today, KITS has about probably just around 1.2 million two-year active customers, and about 65% of their revenue comes from repeat customers. More importantly, average order values and revenue per customer has trended upward significantly during the past 4 to 5 years and keeps increasing. This is mostly volume, not pricing. And this year's glasses cohort is already worth more than the 3-year-old cohorts, so payback is accelerating as well. That's why I think they keep investing to bring in more customers. Again, low cost in, years of compounding after that, which is one of the definitions of a good business. So here's a growth kind of drawn out. 4 years ago, this was a sub $100 million business. Last year, they did over 200 million Canadian, which is about a 30% compound growth rate. This year, it should eclipse 250 million at about 25 to 30% growth. So the formula is obviously working very well and has resulted in pretty significant results. And as mentioned, the opportunity is massive in eyewear, which is an 80 billion plus global market. About 70% of adults need vision correction, and there are over 100 million potential customers in North America alone. And I think the chart on the left is important. It just shows online penetration of glasses, people comfortable purchasing online, went from about 7 or 8% pre-COVID to almost 20% today and has not decreased. Contacts went from less than 20% to about 40%, and we believe these shifts will remain permanent. And although competitors are larger, Warby Parker, et cetera, they still can't match KITS' quality and pricing value prop. So as long as brand awareness grows, we think the opportunity in glasses and the runway is massive. All right, so a quick note on management, although they're very important to the story. The people here are a large part of why we're involved, and I place a pretty significant emphasis on management and culture in terms of what we look for. Roger Hardy, the CEO, built his previous business, Coastal Contacts, which was very similar to KITS, and sold it to Essilor-Luxottica for about $450 million in 2014. And this is his second act in the same industry. KITS is at an eerily similar point that Coastal was when they sold the business, although I believe the industry and the technology and the business is in a much better spot today than 2014. Roger's co-founder, Joe Thompson, comes from Amazon and Procter & Gamble and was very instrumental in a lot of the things that they do, including manufacturing, pricing, and many other things. Insiders own about 75% of the business. Roger owns about 30% himself. He purchased about $400,000 of stock last month in the open market, right around today's prices or a little bit below. I don't believe Joe is here, but Olivia Evans is here, the Director of Corporate Strategy and IR. She's great. Schedule a meeting with her. So why now? I think I touched on a number of these. I don't need to go through all of them, but I'll just say despite everything I've discussed so far, the stock is down 25% this year. It was about 40% a few weeks ago. While the business keeps growing and getting better, I think that's a nice situation to step in front of. I don't believe we started with an egregious valuation, but that's up for debate. And so now back to the question I opened with. I got about a minute left here. The stock trades around 65 times next year's earnings, and obviously on the surface that's expensive, but I think that 65 times reflects the reinvestment we discussed, which is leading to the value being created as a result. And we think over time this can be a 15 to 20% EBITDA margin business at scale versus around 5% today, which would put today's valuation closer to 13 times. Looking out a few years, that multiple compresses to single digits, between 6 to 8 times. So a high valuation on low margins being reinvested is not an expensive stock in our view. We don't spend a lot of time on multiples or price targets, but 6 to 8 times looking a few years out doesn't make a lot of sense for a growing business of this quality. And you can see here what it's worth if they execute. There are some levers to pull and how margins get from 5 to 15%. Feel free to find me afterward to discuss. And yeah, that's our recommendation, $14.50 a share, 12-month target, long-term target about $35 to $45 a share. And yeah, find me afterwards, questions, criticisms, comments. Thank you.